As a music producer, standing out is super important. So in this video, I'll show you how to create a unique sound. The first understanding is that sound goes beyond the actual sample that we're using. So Pharrell, the reason they sounded cool, the Neptunes, is because they played certain music theory. They played certain chords, major seventh, minor seventh, flip. They would do dominant chords, go back. You know, there's a lot of music theory involved. It goes way beyond the instrument they were using. It goes into their thought process and the workflow. But if you want to, in this video, I'm going to show you how to take samples. And even though we're using a sample, I'll show you how to make it sound unique. So in our Discord, go to discord.gg/busyworksbeats. I'll leave a link in the video description. We have a whole section where we have all the top hip hop album samples. So let's go down and from MF Doom to Jay-Z to, tons of folks. I'm just going to click on a random folder here, the Wu-Tang folder, and let's just click a random song. Now I'm hitting shift to kind of jump around. Now this song is very bright, so I'm going to use a different song. That one sounds like an interlude. We need something with to do it all. Okay, so let's grab that one. Doesn't really matter what the song is. I'm going to show you a process. Now let's drag this sample into Serato sample. In FL Studio 21.2, you actually have the stem separator right inside of FL. So if you want to do something like this, you could use that as well. But Serato's a little bit different in that it's a sampler as well. So that we can find samples and chop them and play them on our keyboard. So the first thing is just kind of playing around and trying to match it. So luckily this matches to our BPM. Let's do like 84 BPM. So everything about what you do in the process of making beats can be an original thing. Why was boom bap always from 80 to about 99 BPM? That's pretty high BPM. It's because that was the signature for the sound. That's what made it boom bap, is that slow vibe so that rappers could freestyle over the beats. Okay, so if I made the beats 120 BPM, they couldn't really freestyle because the beat is way too fast. So some of the stuff is not a sound, and I think that's why a lot of people get stuck. They're looking for the right sound or the right plugin to buy to get a unique sound. It's not the sound, it's the process. It's, do you slow down the BPM? Do you use minor seventh chords, or do you use minor ninth chords? Do you use augmented chords? It's the music theory of your sound. It's the how you chop. It's not what you chop. So that's where people are getting stuck. So let's record like a little riff. Okay, let's make it like a Dipset type track. So 84 BPM. I don't like that chop. Okay, so the only chop I don't like is the one where I hit this. It's too much going on. Let's quantize, hit Control Q. Another thing a lot of producers are doing is they're quantizing everything, and it takes the life out of everything. I understand modern DAWs and modern stuff kind of requires to be quantized to some degree, but if you get stuck, try not quantizing your stuff, or instead of using Control Q, use Alt Q and then pull back your sensitivity and pull back your start time values. That way you're not quantizing everything to the T all the time. That's why you're losing a lot of the soul in your sound. Okay, so another technique, I'm just going to show you little things you can do here and there. Let's change the key. Let's pitch this up 3. I'm going to change some of these chops. So this already sounds different by the way that I chopped it and pitched it up, and the BPM. So also we got to think about, if we're trying to achieve a classic sound that people are familiar with, we have to use those familiar ingredients. You know, like there's a reason we think a Chick-fil-A sandwich tastes like fried chicken sandwich. It's because it uses, fried ingredients. It uses the breading, it uses chicken, and it uses a bun of some sort. Now, if I start using peanut butter and jelly and, what's the stuff? Fish eggs. I can't think of the word for some reason. That's not going to make a fried chicken sandwich. It doesn't matter if I change the amount of cayenne pepper or salt in the ingredients. It's going to feel way different because it's not using the ingredients that people expect. So there's a part of hip hop and a part of modern production that you use sounds that people are used to, but then you experiment with the other stuff around it. So maybe you're making a Chick-fil-A sandwich, but instead of the pickle, you put like a different slice of pickle, or you put jelly on top. That's where you experiment. You don't experiment with the chicken itself, because then people don't see it as a Chick-fil-A sandwich. Now you can change up the dough and the fried batter and everything. Let's find a drum loop. Let's use some of the Alchemist stuff. So another thing is a lot of people are looking for one shots, and that's why their beats sound the same. It's just boop, doop, 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 but a lot of boom bap is actually chopping drum breaks, because drum breaks have multiple samples layered on top of each other, and they have unique timing differences. So if you just want to get outside of the box for a second, try chopping up a drum break instead of just using one shot samples. Not that you have to make them boom bap drums, but it's just going to give you a different texture over your drums. So let's see if these drums fit. I like that drum. So let's right click, open this up in Slice X. Let's go to the Regions tab, Auto Slice, Medium Auto Slicing. And you can see it adds little time markers here. Almost hard to see. What you could do now is go to your typing keyboard. If you didn't know, you can actually right click here and select Slice X. As long as you have root note C and 4 enabled, you can now play your typing keyboard and you could trigger the chops in the Slice plugin. You could do the same thing for the FPC as well. So now I'm playing with my typing keyboard, and now I can create my own pattern as if I'm playing, an Ableton Live controller. So I'm going to start with the snare, and then I'll add the kicks. Now usually I have multiple snares. Try to not quantize if you can. Okay, so let's try to not quantize unless it sounds super offbeat. Because the way you play your snare, depending on how you sample, it can fit the sample better when it's not super quantized. It just depends on the sample. Now in this case, if I don't like the kick, see if I can find a hi-hat. It's kind of a hi-hat, but it's layered with the kick. So I could either filter that out, or might have to filter it, but that's going to take too much time. So in that case, I would go to the one shot for a clearer drum. So here's the hi-hat right here. Right click. Now, a lot of good samples have this little time gap in the beginning, and a lot of folks don't understand the importance of time when they're beginning producers. So everything's quantized and 0 time difference. And that's why your stuff sounds stale, because everything's just perfectly timed. I'm going to record this by hand using my typing keyboard. Record notes and automation. I'm going to right click and make sure it says layout piano. Now we'll play middle, see if I play the comma. Notice I'm not listening to the quantized metronome. so I'm going to change that last chop because I don't like last chop. Okay, so if you want more like liveliness in your songs, this is how you would do it. Now again, you don't have to use this kick, okay, because I don't really like the kick. It sounds slow. So let's see if we can find a different kick. All right, so we're just following the actual sample with that kick. I'm going to quantize the kick to match the sample timing. So I'm quantizing because I forgot I quantized the sample. So now it's forcing everything else to be quantized because it's going to make the other stuff sound off beat. So we can listen to the bass in the sample and replay that with our bass and remove their bass, or we could just play over top of their bass. In Serato, you can remove the bass. All right, so I was trying to match the kick timing, but also match the timing of the sample. So there's a couple little bouncy basses in there where it goes da-doom like that. So here with this bass, I offset it just a little bit so I have more swing. So now let's create a unique processing chain. This is another thing people overlook mixing. This is how you create a unique sound. the sound now. Now we're creating that unique sound. So let's hear before and after. Here's before. Which it sounds cool, but now it's at our process. So see how compression can become your sound as well. So that's more than just the beat making process. It's also the processing and the mixing and mastering that adds a tone to your sound. Usually in mixing it, you add a vibe. Mastering is more clean, but that's how you create your unique sound using samples. If you want to learn more, just go to premium.busyworksbeats.com. I'll leave a link below so you guys can learn beat making. Peace.